The pearl earring caught the last rays of sunset, gleaming accusingly from beneath my dinner plate. I blinked twice, wondering if exhaustion was playing tricks on my eyes. But no. There it sat, delicate and unmistakable, definitely not mine. My name is Audrey, and until that moment, I thought I was just serving another quiet Sunday dinner for my husband and visiting mother. The roast was perfect, the wine was breathing, and the table settings were immaculate. The kind of attention to detail you'd expect from an interior designer who spent the last decade making other people's homes look effortlessly beautiful. "Mom, dinner's ready," I called out, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. I lifted the plate, picking up the earring. Single. Pearl. High quality. The backing was still attached. Corbin walked in, loosening his tie. "Smells amazing, babe." He kissed my cheek, but his cologne seemed stronger than usual. Fresh, like he'd reapplied it recently. "Found this under my plate," I said casually, holding up the earring. Weird place for it to turn up. His face remained perfectly neutral. "Must be yours. You're always leaving jewelry around." "I don't own pearl earrings." "Sure you do." "Remember that set I got you last Christmas?" "Those were diamonds, Corbin." My mother appeared in the doorway, her face carrying that careful blank expression she'd perfected over years of keeping other people's secrets. Her eyes fixed on the earring, then darted to Corbin, then back to me. "Everything okay?" she asked, too lightly. "Found an earring," I said, watching her reaction. "Under my plate." She sat down slowly, smoothing her napkin with trembling fingers. "How strange." Corbin laughed, but it didn't reach his eyes. "It's just an earring. Probably fell out of the laundry or something. Let's eat before everything gets cold." I set the earring beside my wine glass and served the food. The roast I'd spent hours preparing now tasted like cardboard in my mouth. Corbin chatted about work, about some deal he was closing with Hector, about plans for the weekend. Mom pushed food around her plate, answering in monosyllables. "More wine, Mom?" "No, thank you, dear." She glanced at her watch. "Actually, I should probably turn in early. Long drive tomorrow." "It's barely 7, Corbin protested. "Migraine coming on," she muttered, excusing herself. I watched her retreat upstairs, noting how her shoulders hunched forward like she was carrying something heavy. Corbin's phone buzzed. He checked it under the table, his face illuminated by the screen's glow. "Work?" I asked. "Just Hector." "Numbers for tomorrow's presentation." He stood up, kissing my forehead. "Thanks for dinner, babe. I've got some emails to catch up on." I cleared the table alone, scrubbing dishes with unnecessary force while questions multiplied in my mind. Through the kitchen window, I saw movement in the garden. Mum's figure, wrapped in her cardigan, pacing near the rose bushes. She never got migraines. I dried my hands, slipped on my shoes, and followed her out. The evening air had turned sharp with autumn's bite. Mum didn't turn when I approached, just kept staring at the roses I'd planted last spring. "Mum?" "Go back inside, Audrey, it's cold." "What aren't you telling me?" She wrapped her arms tighter around herself. Some things you need to discover on your own." "That earring wasn't yours." Her voice cracked. "And you know it." "Then whose—" A twig snapped behind us. We both turned to see Corbin watching from the patio door, his silhouette dark against the warm kitchen light. "Everything okay out here?" Mum's face shuttered closed. "Just getting some air." She hurried past him into the house. I started to follow, but she was already halfway up the stairs. Corbin caught my arm. "You're shivering," he said, rubbing my shoulders. "Come inside." I let him guide me back to the warmth, but my skin crawled where he touched me. The pearl earring sat forgotten on the dinner table, catching the last light like a tiny moon, or maybe a warning. I couldn't sleep. The digital clock blinked 2:17 a.m. when I heard Mom's door creak open. Her footsteps whispered down the hallway, then down the stairs. I waited 30 seconds before following. She stood in our backyard again, phone pressed to her ear, speaking in hushed tones. I crept closer, staying in the shadows of the house. "Can't keep quiet anymore," she was saying. She found the earring. No, I won't tell her everything. But Hayden? That she needs to know. Hayden. The name hit me like a slap. I must have made a sound because Mom whirled around, nearly dropping her phone. "I have to go," she whispered into it, then ended the call. "Audrey? Who's Hayden?" My voice sounded strange, even to me. "And who are you talking to?" "Go back to bed, sweetheart." "No." I stepped closer. No more deflecting. No more protecting me from whatever this is. "Tell me." Mom's face crumpled. "Ask Corbin about his business trips, and ask him about Hayden. Who is she? Someone who shouldn't be in your house." She grabbed my hands. "Listen to me carefully. Your father, God rest his soul, he taught me something important. Sometimes the people closest to us build entire lives we know nothing about." "Mom, you're scaring me." "Good, you should be scared. But more than that, you should be angry." A light flicked on upstairs. Mom dropped my hands and stepped back into the shadows. "Everything okay down there?" Corbin called from our bedroom window. "Fine," I shouted back. "Mom wasn't feeling well. Getting some air." When I turned back, Mom was already heading inside. I followed her to the guest room, catching the door before she could close it. "Please," I whispered. "Just tell me." She shook her head. "Check his phone. The one he keeps in his gym bag." "What?" "The backup phone. And look for messages from H." My hands were shaking as I returned to bed. Corbin was scrolling through his regular phone, the blue light highlighting his sharp features. "Your mom okay?" "Anxiety," I lied. "She gets restless sometimes." He set his phone down. "Come here." I let him pull me close, fighting the urge to recoil. His breathing soon steadied into sleep, but I lay awake, counting the minutes until morning. At 6 a.m., Corbin left for his morning workout. I waited until his car pulled away, then ran to our closet. His gym bag sat in the corner, reeking of stale sweat. I dug through protein bars and workout clothes until my fingers touched smooth metal. An older iPhone model, different from his regular one. It powered on immediately, no password required. Overconfident Corbin. Amateur mistake. Recent messages loaded. There it was. H. I opened the thread. Dozens of messages dating back months. Photos. My stomach lurched as I scrolled. A woman's hand wearing a pearl earring identical to the one I'd found. Dinner reservations. Hotel confirmations. "Miss you already. Last night was perfect." H. "Can't wait for Paris next month. Just us. No complications." Paris? Corbin had told me his Paris trip was cancelled. The front door slammed. I nearly dropped the phone. "Forgot my wallet!" Corbin called up. I shoved the phone back, arranged the bag exactly as I'd found it, and sprinted to the bathroom. Turned on the shower just as his footsteps hit the stairs. "Babe?" "In the shower." My voice was remarkably steady. "Heading out again. Breakfast meeting with Hector." "Have fun." I waited until the door closed again, then sank to the bathroom floor. Mom's words echoed. Sometimes the people closest to us build entire lives we know nothing about. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. "I'm sorry." But now you know where to start looking. I stared at myself in the foggy mirror, watching tears mix with shower steam on my cheeks. Then I opened my contacts and scrolled to Paige's number. My best friend would know what to do. She always did. But as I typed out a message, another text from Mom appeared. Be careful who you trust. Some friends keep secrets that aren't theirs to tell. I deleted my draft message to Paige and called in sick to work. Instead of heading to my design studio, I parked across from Corbin's office building. The morning rush of suited professionals streamed through the revolving doors, but I kept my eyes fixed on the coffee shop next door. Right on schedule, Corbin emerged from the building at 10:30. His breakfast meeting was running late. I slouched lower in my seat, watching as he checked his phone and smiled at whatever he saw on the screen. A woman in a red trench coat appeared from around the corner. Tall, elegant, younger than me. She moved with the kind of confidence that came from knowing exactly how beautiful you were. Corbin's face lit up when he saw her. Got you, I whispered, snapping photos with my phone. They disappeared into the cafe. Through the window, I watched them settle into a corner booth. His hand found hers across the table. Intimate, practiced. They'd done this before. My phone buzzed. Mom. Did you find anything? Currently watching my husband have coffee with a woman in red. Hayden, I assume? A long pause. Yes. There's something else you should know. I'm listening. She's family, Audrey. My cousin's daughter. The phone nearly slipped from my hand. What? I found out 6 months ago. I confronted Corbin, told him to end it, or I'd tell you everything. 6 months? My voice cracked. You've known for 6 months? I gave him a chance to do the right thing. When he didn't, I left that earring under your plate. I watched Hayden laugh at something Corbin said, her head thrown back, pearl earrings catching the light. The missing pair to the one Mom planted. Why didn't you just tell me? Would you have believed me? Or would you have asked Corbin, who would have denied everything and made me look like a bitter old woman trying to ruin your marriage? She was right. I would have chosen his word over hers. There's more, Mum continued, about the money. But I was already out of the car. Something in me snapped watching them together, so comfortable in their betrayal. I pushed through the cafe door, the bell's cheerful jingle a stark contrast to the rage pulsing through me. Corbin saw me first. The colour drained from his face. Audrey, don't! I turned to Hayden. Nice earrings. Missing one? She touched her earlobe reflexively, eyes widening with recognition. You must be the wife, she said, voice honey-sweet with fake sympathy. I was wondering when we'd finally meet. Audrey, this isn't, Corbin started. What it looks like. I laughed, loud enough to draw stares. Really? Because it looks like you're having coffee with my mother's cousin's daughter. Family, Corbin. You're sleeping with family. Hayden's composure cracked slightly. He told me you knew. That you had an arrangement. An arrangement? I pulled out my phone, showing them the photos I'd just taken. Is that what you call this? Lower your voice, Corbin hissed. People are staring. Good. I turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and that Paris trip that got cancelled? Hope you two have fun. I'll make sure to forward the hotel confirmation to your work email. I'm sure the partners would love to know how you're spending company money. Corbin grabbed my arm. You're making a scene. I yanked free. No, I'm just getting started. Outside, my phone buzzed again. A text from Paige. Heard you're not feeling well. Want me to bring soup? I stared at the message, remembering Mom's warning about trusted friends. How many people knew? How long had they all watched me play the fool? Another text came through, this time from Mom. Don't tell anyone what you found. Not yet. First, we need to talk about Hector and the money. It's worse than you think. I looked back through the cafe window. Corbin and Hayden were arguing, his face red, her perfect composure finally cracking. Good. Let them feel a fraction of what I felt. But Mom was right. This wasn't just about an affair. The mention of Hector, the company money, the secret phone. I was standing on the edge of something much darker, and I was done being the last to know. I met Eli Murray in a dimly lit diner across town. The private investigator looked exactly like his reviews suggested. Unremarkable, easy to forget, perfect for his job. Your mother mentioned you might call, he said, sliding into the booth. Show me what you've found. I pushed across printouts of Corbin's credit card statements. Multiple hotel charges, high-end restaurants, jewelry stores. But look at these. I pointed to a series of large withdrawals. All from casinos. Eli studied the papers. Your husband's not just having an affair. He's bleeding money. But where's it going? His salary's huge, but our accounts are getting thin. Could be gambling, could be worse. He pulled out his laptop. Give me access to his emails. I handed over the login details I'd stolen from Corbin's backup phone. Eli's fingers flew across the keyboard. Here, he said after a few minutes. Emails between your husband and Hector Wheeler. They're coded, but... He turned the screen. They're discussing poker games, high stakes. Private tables. How high? Hundreds of thousands, per night. My coffee turned sour in my stomach. That's impossible. We don't have that kind of money. No, Eli agreed, but his company does. Before I could process this, the diner's bell chimed. Hector Wheeler himself walked in, his expensive suit out of place among the vinyl booths. I slid lower in my seat, but his eyes found me immediately. Audrey! He changed course, heading straight for us. What a surprise! Eli smoothly closed his laptop as Hector reached our table. And who's this? Hector's smile didn't reach his eyes. Tax consultant, I lied. Year-end planning. Bit early for that, isn't it? He turned to Eli. I don't believe we've met. Hector Wheeler. John Smith, Eli said blandly, shaking his hand. Well, don't let me interrupt. Hector's gaze lingered on the papers scattered between us. Though Corbin usually handles all the financial stuff, doesn't he? Times change, I said sweetly. After Hector collected his takeout order and left, Eli leaned forward. He'll tell your husband about this meeting. Good. Let him sweat. This is serious, Audrey. These numbers... Eli tapped the statements. They suggest money laundering. The affair with Hayden might be the least of your problems. My phone buzzed. A text from Corbin. Where are you? Hector says he saw you with some guy. Already? I showed Eli the message. Go home, he said. Act normal. I'll dig deeper into the financial trails. But Audrey? His expression darkened. Be careful. Men who handle this kind of money don't like being exposed. I drove home in a daze. Corbin's car was already in the driveway, next to an unfamiliar black SUV. Voices drifted from his home office, Corbin and Hector arguing. I crept closer to the door, left slightly ajar. She's asking questions, Hector was saying, meeting with some guy about finances. I'll handle it, Corbin snapped. Handle it fast. We can't afford attention right now, not with what's at stake. The money's clean by Friday. Everything's arranged. It better be, because if this falls apart... Hector's voice dropped. Well, let's just say some very powerful people are watching, and they don't like loose ends. Are you threatening me? Warning you. Control your wife. before someone else decides to. I backed away silently, heart pounding. My phone buzzed again. Eli. Found something big. Don't react to this text. Your house might be watched. Meet tomorrow, same place. Bring your mother. The office door opened. I hurried to the kitchen, grabbing a glass of water just as Hector emerged. Leaving so soon? I called out, proud of how steady my voice sounded. Just business. He smiled, that empty smile again. Have a lovely evening, Audrey. Corbin appeared behind him, face tight with stress. As soon as Hector left, he turned to me. Where were you today? Out, I said, thinking about things, like Paris. He flinched. Good. We should talk, he started. Yes, I agreed. We really should, but not tonight. I have a headache. I headed upstairs, feeling his eyes on my back. In our bedroom, I texted my mother. Meeting Eli tomorrow. It's worse than we thought. Much worse. Her reply came instantly. Don't sleep at home tonight. I waited until Corbin's breathing deepened into sleep, then slipped out with a packed overnight bag. Mom was already waiting in her car around the corner. Where are we going? I asked as she pulled away. Hotel. Eli's meeting us there, safer than the diner. The hotel room was small but clean. Eli arrived 20 minutes later with a thick folder and grim expression. Show us, Mom said. Eli spread photos across the bed. Corbin entering various buildings, meeting with men in suits, Hayden accepting shopping bags at her condo. The boutique she owns? Eli pointed to a photo. Funded entirely by your husband, but that's just the surface. The real money goes through here. He laid out another photo, a nondescript office building. Weekly poker games, high rollers only. Your husband's been losing big. How big? I whispered. Nearly $2 million in the last 3 months. Mom gasped. That's impossible. It gets worse, Eli continued. The games are rigged. Your husband's being played. They're using him to launder money through his company's accounts. And Hayden? I asked. She's their honey trap. They used her to compromise him, then blackmailed him into cooperation. But she's not just playing your husband. Eli pulled out one final photo. Hayden kissing Hector Wheeler. Jesus, Mum muttered. My phone buzzed. Page again. Haven't heard from you. Everything okay? Don't answer, Eli warned. Your friend Paige? She's connected to this too. What? How? Show her, Mom said quietly. Eli pulled up a document on his laptop. A family tree. There, clear as day. Paige and Hayden, half-sisters. She knew, I whispered. All this time, she knew. There's more, Eli said. Your husband's company is about to announce a merger. Stock prices will soar, but it's a fraud. They're cooking the books. When it collapses, everyone loses everything, I finished. Except the people who know it's coming. They'll short the stock, make millions. Your husband's signature is all over the paperwork. When it falls apart, he takes the blame. We need to go to the police, Mom said. Not yet, I cut in. First, I want them to feel what it's like to be played. Audrey. No, Mom. They used family against me. Corrupted my marriage. Betrayed my trust. I grabbed the pearl earring from my purse. Now it's my turn. What are you thinking? Eli asked. The company's anniversary dinner is next week. Everyone will be there. Corbin, Hayden, Hector, the board members. I smiled coldly. Perfect time for some truths to come out, don't you think? They're dangerous people, Eli warned. So am I. I turned to Mom. You still have access to Uncle Robert's beach house? Yes, but... Good. We'll need somewhere to stay after. Because when I'm done, there won't be a home to go back to. My phone buzzed again. Corbin. Where are you? This time I answered. Couldn't sleep, went for a drive, be home soon. I'll have everything ready by the dinner, Eli said. But be careful. One wrong move. I know. I stood up. Mom, stay here tonight. I need to go home. Keep things normal. Audrey, please, trust me. I hugged her tight. I learned from the best how to keep secrets. Back home, Corbin was waiting in the kitchen. You scared me, he said, pulling me close. I woke up and you were gone. Sorry, needed air. I let him hold me, remembering when his touch used to feel like home. Hey, about the anniversary dinner next week. What about it? I was thinking, why not make it special? Invite everyone. Celebrate properly. His arms tightened slightly. Everyone? Yeah. Hector, the whole board. Even that new colleague of yours. What's her name? Hayden? A pause. Then, sure, babe. Whatever you want. I kissed his cheek and headed upstairs, my smile hidden in the darkness. Let them think they're still in control. Let them think I'm still the trusting wife, the obedient puppet in their game. The pearl earring felt heavy in my pocket. Soon it would find its way home, right before I burned everything down. The private dining room at LeBlanc sparkled with crystal and candlelight. I'd chosen everything perfectly. The flowers, the place settings, the hidden cameras Eli had installed that morning. Even my dress, a red number that matched Hayden's favorite trench coat. Guests filtered in. Board members, colleagues, Hector with his trophy wife. Paige arrived early, trying to catch my eye. I turned away. Audrey. Hayden's voice dripped honey. This is unexpected. Is it? I smiled, touching the pearl earring I'd pinned to my dress. I thought family should be here. Her eyes narrowed at the earring. Before she could respond, I gestured to a server. Could you show Ms. Weber to the powder room? She looks like she needs to freshen up. Hayden took the hint, following the server down the hallway. I counted to 30, then followed. She was fixing her lipstick when I entered. Subtle, wearing my earring. Subtle, sleeping with my husband. He was never really yours. She turned, leaning against the marble counter. You were his safe choice, the good girl, but he needs more than that. More like what? A con artist? A honey trap for dirty money? Her smile faltered. You don't know what you're talking about. 2 million in gambling debts, rigged games, the merger fraud. Ring any bells? Who told you? Does Hector know you're playing both sides? Or did you think no one would notice? Listen to me very carefully. She stepped closer. You're in over your head. Walk away now, while you still can. I pulled out my phone, pressed play. Her voice filled the small space. He was never really yours. Everything you just said, recorded, along with evidence of every transaction, every meeting, every lie. I moved toward the door. Enjoy the dinner, Hayden. It's going to be memorable. Back in the dining room, Corbin was working the crowd. He froze when he saw me talking to Eli, who was posing as a photographer. Everything ready? I whispered. Eli nodded. Cameras rolling, files loaded, just say the word. Corbin appeared at my side. What's he doing here? Taking photos. It is our anniversary after all. The server announced dinner. Everyone found their seats. Hayden between Hector and his wife, Paige across from me, Corbin at the head of the table. Perfect. Before we begin, I stood, raising my glass. I'd like to make a toast. Audrey, Corbin warned quietly. To family, I continued. To trust. To secrets that can't stay buried. The screens around the room flickered to life. Security footage of Corbin entering Hayden's condo. Bank statements. photos of rigged poker games, email threads about the fraudulent merger. What is this? Hector stood up. The truth. I turned to Paige. Did you enjoy watching me fall apart while protecting your sister's secret? Gasps around the table. Hayden's face went white. To my husband, I raised my glass higher, who thought he could play everyone, but forgot who he was playing with. Turn it off, Corbin growled. The SEC has copies, I said calmly. So does the FBI. They're very interested in your creative accounting. Hector lunged for the door, but 2 men in suits stepped in. Federal agents, right on time. This will destroy you too, Corbin hissed. No! I pulled out divorce papers. This protects me. Signed last week. Backdated 6 months. I'm just another victim of your fraud. Chaos erupted. Hayden tried to run but was caught. Hector's wife threw her wine in his face. Board members shouted about lawyers. You bitch! Corbin grabbed my arm. You have no idea what you've done. Actually, I do. I yanked free. I learned from the best, didn't I? You taught me how to destroy someone you love. The agents moved in, reading rights, snapping handcuffs. I watched them lead Corbin away, his perfect mask finally cracking. Paige tried to approach me. Audrey, please, don't. I held up my hand. Just don't. I walked out into the cool night air. Mom was waiting in her car. Ready? She asked. I touched the pearl earring one last time, then dropped it in the gutter. Ready. Behind us, through the restaurant's windows, I could see the aftermath of my carefully orchestrated destruction. Sometimes karma needs a little help. And revenge? It tastes better shared with family. The morning after the dinner, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. News outlets, lawyers, old friends suddenly remembering my existence. I ignored them all and drove to the courthouse. Eli met me outside. You made quite a mess last night. Any regrets? They found 3 more shell companies this morning. Your husband was busy. Ex-husband, I corrected, clutching my copy of the divorce papers. A familiar voice called out behind us. Audrey! I turned to see Zeke, Corbin's estranged brother, striding toward us. I hadn't seen him in years, not since that Christmas dinner when he and Corbin had their explosive fight. What are you doing here? I asked. Came as soon as I saw the news. He looked older, harder. I tried to warn you about him years ago. I remember. I didn't listen. No one ever did. Zeke's jaw tightened. That's how he got away with it for so long, just like our father. Inside the courthouse, we found Mom waiting with our lawyer. The preliminary hearing was about to start. Ready? Mom squeezed my hand. Born ready. The courtroom filled quickly. Reporters, investigators, curious onlookers. Corbin sat with his legal team, still wearing his expensive suit despite the handcuffs. Hayden was there too, separated from him, looking small without her usual confidence. All rise. The proceedings began. Evidence mounted. Financial records, witness statements, surveillance footage. Each revelation hit like a hammer, dismantling the careful facade Corbin had built. During a break, Hayden approached me in the hallway. I never meant... Save it, I cut her off. You meant every bit of it. He said he loved me. He said that to all his marks, didn't he? The ones you helped him trap. Her face crumpled. You don't understand. I didn't have a choice. There's always a choice. You just made the wrong one. Back inside, Zeke was called to testify. His voice shook as he described our father's similar schemes, the pattern of manipulation, the destroyed lives left in his wake. And your brother? The prosecutor asked. Learned from the best, watched our father charm people, use them, discard them. I tried to stop it, but... Zeke looked directly at Corbin. You turned into him, you sick bastard. Corbin lunged forward, restraints rattling. You're just jealous. Always were. Order. The judge's gavel cracked like a gunshot. As security restrained Corbin, something in him finally snapped. You want the truth? He shouted. Fine. I played them all. The company, the investors, my wife. He laughed manically. You think this is over? You have no idea what's coming. The judge ordered him removed. As guards led him out, he locked eyes with me. I loved you once, he spat. Before I knew how weak you were. I stood up slowly. No, you loved what I represented. Stability, respectability. The perfect cover for your games. I smiled coldly. But I learned from you too. About patience, about waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The room fell silent. The difference is, I continued, I'm walking out of here free. You're going to rot knowing you were taken down by the weak little wife you underestimated. Later, outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed us. Eli helped clear a path to Mum's car. Ms. Davis! How long did you know about your husband's crimes? Did you help plan the fraud? Was the marriage a sham from the start? I turned to face them. My marriage was real. My love was real. But so was his betrayal. Sometimes the people we trust the most are the ones who hurt us worst. The only question is, what do you do with that pain? Zeke caught up with us at the car. There's more to uncover. Other victims, other schemes. Will you help? I looked at Mom, then Eli. They nodded. Yes, I said. It's time to finish what we started. As we drove away, I watched the courthouse shrink in the rearview mirror. Somewhere inside, Corbin was facing the consequences of his choices. But this wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about justice. For everyone he'd hurt, everyone Hayden had helped him destroy, everyone who'd been too afraid to fight back. And we were just getting started. I set the last box on my dining room table, the same one where I'd found that pearl earring. The house felt different now, cleansed of secrets and lies. My phone buzzed. Eli's text read, "Turn on the news." I flicked on the TV just in time to see Corbin being led into prison. 15 years, no parole. The camera caught his face, gaunt, defeated, nothing like the man who'd shared my bed and betrayed my trust. The doorbell rang. Zeke stood there with a thick folder. Found another one, he said, stepping inside. A woman in Seattle. Corbin took everything she had. Add her to the list. I gestured to my makeshift office, where dozens of similar files lay spread out. The restitution fund should cover her losses. You didn't have to do this, you know. Give up your settlement money to help his other victims. Yes, I did. I picked up a photo of a young mother and her kids, another family Corbin had destroyed. Money was his weapon. Let it be his punishment. Mom arrived with coffee and pastries. She'd moved in temporarily, helping me transform the house into a command center for our mission. Hayden called again, she said. Wants to make a deal. What's she offering? Names, dates, account numbers. Says she'll testify against Hector's entire network. I considered this. Set up the meeting. Are you sure? Zeke asked. She wants redemption? Let her earn it. The doorbell rang again. This time it was Paige. Please, she said before I could close the door. 5 minutes. I let her in, watching her take in the changed house, the wall of victim photos, the evidence boxes. I should have told you, she whispered. Yes. I was protecting my sister. No, you were protecting yourself. There's a difference. She pulled out an envelope. Bank records, from accounts Hayden never mentioned. There's more money, hidden overseas. Why now? Because you were right. About choices. Her eyes filled with tears. I made the wrong one. Let me help make it right. I took the envelope. I'll have Eli verify these. If they're genuine, they are. She turned to leave, then paused. I miss my best friend. I miss her too. But she died the day I found that earring. After she left, I sat at the dining table, running my fingers over its smooth surface. The doorbell rang one final time. A woman stood there, clutching a newspaper. "Are you Audrey?" she asked. "I read about what you did, about the restitution fund." "Come in," I said, recognizing her from our files. "Another victim. I never thought," she broke down, "I never thought anyone would fight for us." Mom brought her tea while she told her story. Another variation of the same scheme. Corbin, the charming investor, promising dreams and delivering nightmares. "We'll make it right," I promised. Later, after everyone left, I opened my laptop to update our victim database. A new email arrived from the FBI. More evidence, more names, more threads to pull. The house creaked softly, settling into night. Once these rooms had echoed with lies, now they hummed with purpose. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You think this is over?" Hector, trying to scare me from behind bars. I smiled, typing back, "No, it's just beginning." I walked to the window, watching the street where I'd once followed my husband to that cafe. Where I'd first seen Hayden in her red coat, wearing those pearl earrings. Mum appeared beside me. "You okay?" "Better than okay." I showed her Hector's text. "They still think they can win. And that's their weakness. Always was." I turned away from the window. "They never understood. This isn't about winning anymore. It's about justice." The dining room table waited, covered in files of lives broken by greed and betrayal, but also hope, also redemption. I sat down, opened the first file, and got back to work. Because some dinners are best served cold, but justice? Justice is served one truth at a time, until every lie is exposed, every victim heard, every wrong made right. And I was just getting started.